Imagine a skinny kid with scuffed boots carving zigzags through puddles and cracks on a cramped neighborhood pitch. Apartment blocks leaning over the touchlines like curious spectators. Nobody is rolling out a red carpet. The soundtrack is scooters, radios, and someone shouting from a balcony to be home before dark. That kid listens to the ball like it's music. He keeps it too close, then too far, then perfectly out of reach of the next desperate lunge. This is the beginning of a story about how a boy from the Spanish periphery learned to turn tight spaces into wide-open futures, and how that boy became a Barcelona star. The streets taught him first. On concrete, the ball bounces sharper, so your control must soften. In futsal cages, one bad touch ends the play, so the first touch has to think for the second. He learned to scan before receiving, to use his body as a shield, to sell a feint with his eyes and hips before his feet even speak. The neighborhood didn't hand him advantages, it handed him angles. He made them count. At home, effort was the family language. Work early, rest late, stretch the little you have to reach a little further. School, training, homework, repeat. Trials didn't feel like destiny, they felt like bus rides and packed lunches. He discovered quickly that talent is the doorbell, not the key. You still have to get invited in. La Masia answered, Barcelona's academy is famous for smoothing edges without sanding away identity. There he learned the grammar of the club. Receive on the far foot, open your body to the field, pass to attract pressure, pause to let teammates breathe, burst to knock a defense off balance. The street in him, improvisation, 1v1 daring, timing that splits a line, met structure. When to pin the fullback to free the overlap, when to drift inside to create a triangle, when to fix a centre-back with your run so someone else can be alone. His gift was not just dribbling, it was intention. He didn't move to show off, he moved to solve. With youth stardom came two shadows, haste and labels. When you are very good, very young, headlines arrive before muscles do. Clips go viral, expectations sprint. He needed two rare virtues for a teenager, patience and listening. Coaches asked for fewer touches in risk zones. Analysts showed him how to stand between lines. Physios preached sleep like it was another training session. He practiced his weaker foot until it trusted him. He rehearsed the quiet pre-shot touch that settles the ball for the strike. He learned to arrive late at the far post and early in the mind of the defender. Errors didn't break him because he made the right kind, aggressive, teachable, pointing toward a better version. Debuts look like miracles from the outside. From the inside, they look like repetition. Hundreds of sessions taught him to receive on the foot away from the marker, to turn while leaving, to carry with his head up, to put defenders in a dilemma. If you press, I release. If you wait, I knife through. When the call came, the stadium grew and time shrank. But the game remained familiar. His first touch skipped past a line, his first acceleration pulled sound from the stands, his first pause said he wasn't just fast, he was fluent. At Barcelona, courage is as mandatory as passing. He brought both. Pressure nights followed, derbies that double the weight in your legs, minutes when noise presses down on the ball. Some games, double teams stole his oxygen. Others, anxiety shortened his motion. The solution wasn't magic, it was a plan. He studied with veterans, rewound sequences, collected patterns. The space behind an aggressive fullback, the moment a pivot abandons his zone to chase, the timing for a short wall pass instead of a dribble. He adjusted the mental map. The next week, when two defenders swarmed, he invited them and found the third man. When the lane shut, he cut inside to finish with balance. Fans called it maturity. He called it method. His neighborhood never left his game. That isn't nostalgia, it's an engine. It's the audacity to try the dribble when the manual suggests the bureaucratic pass. It's the insistence on chasing a goal when the clock suggests safety. It is also understanding that football is more than spectacle. It is a rising tide that touches everyone around you. He returned to community courts, supported kids who saw themselves in him, and repeated a simple equation. Discipline beats hype every time. The kite flies high because a hand on the ground holds the line. Tactically, he became useful in 3 lanes. On the chalk, he stretches the field, asking the fullback an exhausting question: step out or suffer. In the half space, he attacks the seam between fullback and centre-back, arriving on the blind side. Inside, he plays near the 10, slipping into the box as a surprise finisher. He varied his height on the pitch, sometimes dropping to receive to feet and spin, sometimes pinning the last line to threaten depth, sometimes hovering between lines to combine. The dribble seduces, but the choice decides. He began to choose better. He dribbled because the moment demanded it, not because he could. He shot when the architecture of the play begged for it, not when impulse did. Great careers are built in centimeters and tenths of seconds. He started winning both. Barcelona found in him a bridge between tradition and tomorrow. Tradition, short passing, positional play, triangles that multiply options, interior superiority. Tomorrow, ruthless acceleration, decisive 1v1 play, wing channel disruption, fierce counter-pressing to win the ball back high. When he steps onto the grass, opponents must pick a poison, sink deeper and surrender space between the lines, or press higher and leave a runway at their backs. He also adopted the habit that separates prospects from pillars: defensive work with intention, closing lanes, helping his fullback avoid isolation. Big games demand solidarity. He offered it. One question hovers over every rising star. When exactly do you become more than a headline? The answer isn't a newspaper front page. It's when teammates look for you, when the game asks for solutions, when a stadium inhales when the ball meets your boot, when rivals rewrite their plan first to stop you, then to win. For him, that moment arrived with a quiet confidence. He knew where the opponent hurt, where he could protect his body, and how each match teaches the next. He moved from proving he belongs to showing how to win. Behind the scenes, the routine kept him steady. Morning, invisible training; sleep, fueling, mobility, strength; afternoon, visible training, repetition of gestures, variation, decision-making under fatigue; night, study, video, notes, questions. Between all of that lived the motive: joy in playing, pride in the path, commitment to those who believed before applause. The stadium can expand, cameras can multiply, contracts can glitter. The decider remains the same court kid: cool head, hot heart, quick feet. If you're looking for a map that runs from point A to Barca, it fits inside 4 verbs: observe, learn, persist, share. Observe to read the game before you touch it. Learn to turn talent into tools. Persist through the days when nothing drops. Share because football is a network. Nobody wins alone. He did all of this with the pace of youth and the calm of process. That is why, when the ball finds his foot and the crowd sharpens to a hush, there's a sense something extraordinary is about to happen. Not by accident. Extraordinary is just the name we give to what was practiced many times when nobody was watching. The journey from a peripheral block to a world stage isn't a magic trick. It's a ledger of choices. Some were glamorous: debuts, goals, ovations. Most were not: early alarms, dull aches, the humility to listen, the discipline to repeat. In the end, the boy who learned to create space in the tightest corners of his neighborhood learned to create time in the tightest moments of elite football. That is how a kid from the edges ended up in the center. How a dream that started between puddles and cracked lines now lives beneath floodlights. How a life stayed rooted in the ground while learning to fly.